In this video, I'm testing out a new way to cook a turkey called the frog method, and I'm comparing it to the spatchcock method to find out which one is better, so let's get smoking. Welcome to the Smoke Lab, I'm Steve Gao, and on this show I do crazy barbecue experiments you would never do at home so you can learn from my trial and error. The frog method, what the heck is that? Is this just a barbecue trend or is there actually some merit to it? Well, I think there actually might be some merit to it at first glance because it appears to flatten out the turkey, expose more surface area to the heat of the smoker, and it should help it cook faster and more evenly. But that's exactly what the spatchcock method does, so is this new method really worth it? To find out, I'm spatchcocking the first turkey by cutting down one side of the backbone. It's easy until you get to the thigh, and then you need to move your knife around a little bit to find the joint and cut through it, and then it's easy to cut the rest of the way through. Then I cut the other side the exact same way, and voila! Backbone removed, and we can roast that backbone or simmer it to create some drippings for gravy, which is what I usually do because I don't usually collect the drippings in my smoker. It's just a little bit too hard. I'd have to put the pans underneath the rack, and it's just kind of a pain, so I like to make my gravy separately. Next step, I flip the bird over, press down on the chest until it flattens out, and it's done. Now, moving on to the frog turkey, I'm cutting down one side of the breast up towards the collarbone. It's really easy to cut through these thin ribcage bones. Then I cut through the other side of the breast so it's just hinged at the collarbone, and I swing the breast open like a door. Now I remove the wing tips by cracking the joint and slicing them off. As an aside, whenever you're trimming poultry, it's a good idea to crack the joint first so you can find the seam in between each of the bones, and then you cut right through it, and it's really easy. You don't want to be cutting through the bone and dulling your knife. Now I'm flipping the bird over, pressing it down, and it's done. Quite a bit faster than the spatchcock method, but I didn't get the entire backbone to create gravy with that, so that's one downside. This turkey is now looking very frog-like, ribbit, and it's pretty long actually. If we look at the spatchcock turkey, it takes up a much smaller footprint, which is interesting. Okay, onto seasoning. I'm rubbing the turkey with my Let's Go general purpose rub, being careful to get it everywhere, and then I'm going to let it sit for 30 minutes while I go to light up the pit. To do that, I'm trying out a different method today, loading the firebox of my Oklahoma Joe's Longhorn offset smoker with charcoal and lighting it with my Oklahoma Joe's charcoal lighter. Then I'm going to maintain temperatures at 300 degrees to 325 degrees by adding wood splits. You can see how the frog turkey takes up quite a bit more room on the smoker. I usually have no issues fitting two spatchcock turkeys in here side by side, but it's looking pretty crowded now with the frog turkey and the spatchcock turkey. It's all good though, plenty of room on the Longhorn. About an hour in, I'm going to start basting the skin with butter, and I'm going to continue doing that every hour or so. It helps to crisp up the skin, and it also adds a little bit of flavor. Another hour later, I'm rotating the turkeys so they cook more evenly. Not something you need to worry about if you're just cooking one, but it's not a bad idea to rotate your turkey around a couple times during the cook so it cooks more evenly. 3 hours later, these turkeys are looking pretty darn good, and the breasts are probing around 150 degrees Fahrenheit in the deepest part, which is when I like to pull them personally. The frog turkey looks kind of cool, but a little bit weird and alien. The spatchcock turkey looks a little bit more turkey-ish. So if you're displaying a turkey on the table, you might want to think about spatchcocking it, or you could frog it if you want to freak your family out. Might be a good Halloween turkey. I mean, and this is the crazy stuff that I would do. I'd get some pickled white onions and like an olive piece so it looks like eyeballs on it. I think that would be pretty funny. Now onto carving. First the spatchcock turkey. The thighs come off quite easily, then I remove the wings. Then I slice down the middle of the breast, and I kind of peel the breast away from the rib cage as I continue to cut it free. Now for the frog turkey, I'm starting by removing the wings, then I'm cutting the breasts off the same way that I did the spatchcock turkey, and they look pretty juicy. Sometimes I do a butter injection, which adds a lot more juiciness, and I probably will do it for Christmas actually, but I didn't do it on this one. Now I'm removing the legs, and I'm left with the carcass, and here's a bit of a bonus. You get more of the carcass with meat attached to it still to scrape off for turkey soup, and there's also those super tender little nuggets of meat on each side of the spine right behind the thighs. I call them the turkey oysters, and that's a big bonus of doing the frog method. With the spatchcock method, they get removed when you're trimming it, or they get really messed up during the cook because they're on the sides. And on a whole turkey, they usually get kind of soggy and gross because they're on the back side of the turkey. So what's better, the frog method or the spatchcock method? Well, in my opinion, they're pretty much the same. I think they're both better than cooking a turkey whole because they both have the same effect of flattening the turkey and decreasing the cook time and helping the meat cook more evenly. With the spatchcock method, you get the spine meat that you can turn into gravy if you don't plan on catching drippings and making your gravy that way. And it also takes up less space in the smoker so you can fit more turkeys in if you're cooking more than one. With the frog method, it's easy easier to trim because you don't need to cut the spine out and you preserve more of the carcass meat for things like soup. You also get those little turkey oysters on the back of the thighs that are either removed when you spatchcock, or if you cook a turkey whole, they get kind of soggy because they're right on the bottom. So it's up to you. Personally, if I was cooking a lot of turkeys and I had a lot of smoker space, then I would personally probably use the frog method because it's a lot easier to trim because you don't have to remove the backbone. But I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Will you try to frog your turkey this holiday season? I'll see you in the next video, and until next time, happy smoking.